It is my great honor and pleasure to introduce you tonight to the man of the hour, J.D. Scholten.
Thank you, Tamara. And thank you for everyone who put on the Wingding. This is absolutely phenomenal. We have this every year, and it's pretty special. Recently, I was in Monona County, just south of Sioux City, and they have a lot of sweat bees there. And you know what they call them? They call them Steve Kings. Because they're super annoying, but they really don't do anything. So Tamara's part of my field staff, and the other staff, the other field members, I would like to raise your hand right now. They're around. Oh, they're back there. They're way back there. Anyways, we have a veteran. We have, like she mentioned, people of color. We have a Republican mother of 4 who works part-time for us, who said no more to Steve King. One of my favorite parts about them is that every one of them is either from the district or graduated college from this district. And when he said diversity is not our strength, I think he's talking about his campaign staff. So it's an honor to be back here, and man, what a difference a year makes. And I know I'm not a typical congressional candidate, because the average person in Congress is 58 years old with a net worth of $1 million. I'm different. 20 years younger, and I'm about $1 million short of that. Now, last year I stood up here and I dared you to tell me this race is unwinnable. And look what we saw nationally. We saw Doug Jones in Alabama. We saw Connor Lamb in Pennsylvania. And just this past week, we saw razor-thin margins in a race that was considered unwinnable with Danny O'Connor. And in the primary, 10,000 people voted more for somebody not named Steve King than they did for Steve King. People are waking up. They're ready for change. They want a real leader. And they're using their right to vote for what is right. Now, nationally, I went to talk to these national groups recently, and they were wanting to talk about the last few years, and the numbers aren't pretty, I get it. And they wanted to give me the benefit of the doubt, and they wanted to talk about 2008. And I said, nope, we got to go back to 1984. Because in 1984, 80% of the now 4th Congressional District was represented by my 2 political heroes, Berkeley Bedell and then Representative Tom Harkin. And you see, I modeled my campaign after them. And it matches up with what we saw in Virginia and Alabama and Pennsylvania, and that is, if you get out to the people, prove that you're trustworthy, and prove that you're going to fight for the people of your district, you're going to earn votes, regardless of their voter history. And it brings me to one of my favorite stories on this campaign trail. We were doing a meet and greet, and it was an hour long, and about the 50-minute mark, a gentleman walks in. He sits over here at the bar, he goes back, and he starts getting aggressive with me, like, what are you going to do to beat Steve King? What do you know about farming? And I'm competitive, so I get a little bit aggressive back with him. Afterwards, it must have made somebody uncomfortable because they reached out to my staff, and they said, you know, we're sorry, this guy's a county bully, he's a big King supporter. So my staffer calls me up and says, hey, we're really sorry about this guy. I'm like, who, the guy that came in late? Yeah, the county bully. I go, oh, that county bully wrote me a check. Now, in the last 12 months, there's a hunger here. And we saw it nationally, and it's happening right here in the 4th District. And while I believe that there needs to be new leadership, new ideas, and younger blood at the top of the Democratic ticket, I'm sick and tired of the Democrats being told that we're coastal elites. And for the last year, I've tried to show them what an Iowa Democrat is from the 4th Congressional District. And here are some of the figures. I put 35,000 miles on my personal car going to all 39 counties. Then we back that up by buying a used Winnebago RV made right up the road, calling it Sioux City Sioux, added an additional 10,000 miles and hitting all 39 counties, and we're not stopping until November. We've also raised almost $1 million through over 12,000 individual contributions from all 39 counties and all 50 states, and the average number of contribution size is $20.14. And thank you. And one of the things I'm most proud of, it's no PAC money. I've also had about 200 slices of Casey's pizza and about 1,000 cups of coffee. But in the last year, I mean, what a difference a year makes. Last year, my parents were they were here. I had 2 friends from out of state. I had 2 staffers that I had no idea how I was going to pay for their next month. And I had one of my staffers' son. Now this year, we have over 10 staffers. In fact, I don't even know how many people we have on staff anymore, which is a good sign. We have my political director's son is now 16. Where's Liberty at? What's up, Liberty? Yeah. And my parents are still here. But the big difference is we have the support of Iowa and the support of you. I mean, when I think of Iowa Democrats, and I think of Democrats, period, I think of us. And at the heart of all this, I'm just a town kid, 1 generation away from a farm right up the road from here. And when I'm elected, I'm going to work with everybody in this district. Because when it comes to things like healthcare and education and preserving the family farm and opportunity and a government and an economy that works for all of us, those aren't partisan issues. Like I mentioned, Berkeley Bedell is one of my heroes. And I got the pleasure to meet him a couple weeks ago. And they had a re-election poster of his from the early 80s. And here's what it said. Does the 1% now own your government? Does the 99% have a chance? How can we rescue our democracy? Representative Bedell is a man way ahead of his time. And as I look around this district, I see opportunity, but I'm frustrated with what's happening with consolidation and the loss of regional and community banks. The average farmer is 58 years old. The average dollar a consumer spends on food goes back to the farmer only 14 and a half cents. That's the lowest in record. And then you got these tariffs. And, oh man, 42 cents today alone. And what ticks me off is you have a representative who's been in there for 16 years, and he's not fighting tooth and nail to even be on the farm bill because they're having the conference committee right now. We need leadership in this district. And those tariffs are like if you get punched in the face and then by the same guy you get an ice pack. Just don't punch me in the face and it's not a big deal. Now, I just had my high school 20th year reunion. And as much as we produce corn, as much as we produce hogs and wind energy, the best thing we produce are people. And it didn't matter if my classmates went straight into the workforce or they went to college. The majority of them are doing great things, but they're not doing it in Sioux City or in this district. At best, they're doing it in Des Moines. We need to fight for an economy that allows for my classmates to stay here and for all of our kids. Now, I want to end this with talking a little bit about my favorite moment of this campaign. And as much as being tweeted about by Mark Hamill, calling me JD the Jedi, it's pretty cool. My favorite moment in all of this is from the Harry Hopkins dinner in Sioux City last fall. The keynote speaker was my other political hero, Senator Harkin. And my mom, God bless her, when I was 10 years old, all I wanted to do was play baseball or basketball. But she made sure I was well-rounded. And she brought me as a 10-year-old to go see Senator Harkin speak. And she had a t-shirt from that day. It said, Harkin for Senate 1990. So when I got up on stage, right before I spoke, threw the t-shirt on, delivered my speech, went right over to him, shook his hand. When he got on stage, he goes to JD, anybody who has the same t-shirt for the last 27 years is the type of penny-pinching Democrat that I like. You know, when I talk about Iowa, I don't know Des Moines. I don't know Cedar Rapids, don't know Iowa City, I don't know Dubuque. I know Larchwood, where my dad is from. I know Lake Mills, where my mom is from. I know Mason City, where my parents met as high school teachers. I know Ames, where I was born, 10 pounds, 2 ounces. I know Nevada, where we lived, and I know Sioux City, where I learned to play baseball and I currently reside. I know the 4th District. And in case you haven't been paying attention to my race, my campaign didn't come just to put on a uniform. We came to play, we came to compete, we came to win. And to Steve King, I got one message for you. I look forward to our debates. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you to the Iowa Wingding for everybody that's put up this on. This is absolutely wonderful. My name is JD Scholten, and I'm standing tall for all. Thank you.
If anyone is going to beat Steve King, it's going to be JD! Right? Get out and vote for JD! Let's open a can of whoop on Steve King this fall.